Hey guys, over the last couple of years, I have noticed a lot of people make these common ETF investing mistakes. In this video, we're going to be talking about common mistakes that people make when they're investing with ETFs. We're going to be talking about strategy to avoid these ETF mistakes, and we're going to be talking about last one is our worst ETF mistake you could be making when you're investing. Hey guys. My name is Steve, and I run the Frugal Expat website, where we try to help people to save more and invest better. In today's video, like I said, we're going to be talking about common ETF investing mistakes that a lot of people are making. So let's get to it, and let's get to our first ETF investing mistake. Our first ETF investing mistake is going to be fund overlap. And what that means is we are having fund overlap with different funds. So I see a lot of people have VOO and VTI. Now, these are great ETFs to buy and hold, but having both of them is probably a little bit of a mistake. First of all, VOO and VTI overlap for about 87% of their holdings. VOO's got the S&P 500 and VTI's got the entire US stock market. So why do I think that these are a little bit too overlapping? Well, first of all, VTI holds the S&P 500, and those 500 companies make up 87% of this ETF. That means that VOO and VTI are almost the same exact ETF, except VTI holds about 13% worth of mid caps and small caps. So what you're doing is you're not really diversifying your ETFs. You're basically holding the same exact companies all in two different ETFs. So what we want to do is we want to kind of not fund overlap unless we want to make more into one or two different companies. But if you have VOO and VTI, it doesn't really make sense. Just buy and hold one of those. If you want just large cap, just buy VOO. If you want everything, just buy VTI. You're going to get the large cap and everything all in one with VTI, and you're just going to get the large cap with VOO. So make a decision, just choose one and not fund overlap. And that can be said with dividend ETFs and even growth ETFs. So what's the point of having QQQM and SCHG? They're going to have some of the same ones, and they're doing the same exact thing. You want just one of those to do. Just pick one and you'll be fine. That can be also said about dividend ETFs. Now, there are a lot of great dividend ETFs out there, but just pick one and just go with it. All right, let's get on to ETF mistake number 2. ETF mistake number 2 is going to be over diversification or too much diversification. Warren Buffett said diversification is protection against ignorance. It makes little sense if you know what you're doing. So what Warren Buffett is trying to say that a lot of people are trying to diversify all their things, so they're picking and choosing so many different ETFs to buy and hold in their portfolio, but honestly, they probably don't know what they're doing, and it's probably simpler just to pick one or two and just go with it. You know, you can see this with the simple Boggleheads 3-fund portfolio. Now, a lot of people like this portfolio, and it's a great one if you want to keep things kind of simple and great. So what it tries to get first, a total US stock market ETF like VTI, so that you have one sector of the entire US stock market. Secondly, it's going to go for like a total international ETF like VXUS. That means you have all international. And thirdly, it's going to get a bond ETF for some of that stable income. This could be a good portfolio for a lot of different people, but what the problem is the international is going to have some drag and the bonds are going to have some drag. Let's first talk about the Vanguard International Index ETF, VXUS. So VXUS has been around since 2011, and it's averaged about 5.12% since its inception. In the last 10 years, it's done about 5.62%. Now, if we're looking to grow our portfolio, 5.12% or 5.62% is not really that great of a return. And so it's bringing about some cash drag on our portfolio. If we want to grow our portfolio and we want to do even better, we want to make sure that we have something that's growing it. Maybe we should look at a growth ETF or even some ETF that's going to get a little bit extra growth into our portfolio. So that's why VXUS is probably not the best one to buy and hold for the long term. Now, if we're looking for some more international exposure, yeah, maybe have a 5 or 10% of internationals into your portfolio to give you some international exposure, and that could be fine. I mean, it's not really taking up that much of your portfolio. But if we wanted more growth, let's not have 30% in internationals. Let's look at maybe a growth ETF to bring you some more growth. Now, our next one for this Boggleheads is a bond ETF. Now, bonds are great for a stable income. It's great for those that are retiring to kind of have, so it doesn't mitigate those risk and returns. But overall, if you want to to grow your portfolio, I mean, the bonds really haven't done very well. Now, Vanguard bond market ETF would be BND, and BND hasn't done well in the past. Now, it's been around since 2007, which is great. Since 2007, it's only averaged 2.97%. Now, in the last 10 years, it's averaged only about 1.51%. It's really not that great. If you're wanting some stable income, I mean, right now, treasuries are doing about 4%. You're getting some great income from maybe even a dividend ETF. A dividend ETF doing about 3% is going to beat some of these bond ETFs. If you find one that's got some good solid blue chips, then you don't have to worry about some of the ups and downs with the market. Well, I mean, the market does go up and down, but you're getting a yield of about 3 to 4% with these dividend ETFs. So, should you be in bonds? Well, it depends on your lifestyle. It depends on what you are. If you're in your 60s or 70s and you're looking for more stability and less risk and return, bonds could help out. But if you're like in your 20s or 30s or even 40s trying to grow your portfolio, well, maybe a simple dividend ETF that can give you some income of anywhere between 3 or 4% could be a better way to do this diversification. Let's get on to mistake number 3. Now, mistake number 3 is going to be chasing returns. Now, when I talk about chasing returns, we have seen in the past where people are looking at, all right, they'll start off with their ETFs, so it'll be maybe VOO, and they're like, oh, QQQ is doing really well, so we're go get QQQ. Next one is ARKK or ARK. Oh, that's up 120%, but then, oh, next year's down 60%. These people are chasing these returns of these ETFs, and this is just not a good thing. You need to look at maybe trying to stick with something that's a little bit more stable and not always chasing the returns of something that looks great right now, because maybe they won't look great in a year or two. You need to look for something that's stable, steady, and continues to grow and grow. All right, let's get on to mistake number 4. Now, mistake number 4 is like mistake number 3, as in it's chasing returns, but this is chasing yields. Now, there are a lot of great dividend ETFs out there, but right now there are so many coming out that are getting some great yields. One could be like Misty, MSTY. Now, Misty is maybe something that you may be looking into because it's got maybe anywhere between 90 to 140% yield on return, and that seems like a great news, right? But as we can see that, you know, a couple months ago, the price was down and it continues to kind of go down and down. So are you really getting those returns? Well, these yields are maybe seem great, but the returns are going down and down, and that means you're losing money. Plus, it's got high fees. High fees of 0.99% expense ratio, which means it costs about $99 for every $10,000. You may be thinking, well, $99 is not that much. But if you have $1 million portfolio, that's almost $10,000 coming out of that $1 million portfolio just for these potential high yields. Now, if you had a simple, great dividend ETF like SCHD that gives you 0.06% expense ratio, that would only cost you $600 for $1 million portfolio. Which would you rather have? To me, I would rather have the low expenses and a great dividend ETF that's been around for 13 or almost 14 years. That is to me. All right. Now, when we're thinking about these mistakes, I have one last mistake, but first, now let's talk about a great 3-fund portfolio you could be making. Now, this is just a framework. Now, if we're looking for a great core, we want to look at maybe a broad market ETF like VOO or VTI or even SCHB. Now, this ETF could be like about 30%, 33% of your portfolio, creating a great core. Now, this is like a framework of a great 3-fund portfolio. Now, if you wanted some more growth, not like VXUS, but more something that gives you a little bit more power when you are investing in your portfolio, you could add a growth ETF. This could be SCHG, QQQM, or even a good VUG. These are some great growth ETFs that could help you power your portfolio to do even better. Now, if you're looking for more stability and a little bit more income, then a great dividend ETF could be one of those ETFs to add to your portfolio. And these dividend ETFs could be SCHD, DGRO, it can even be SPD. So these are some great dividend ETFs that can help you grow your portfolio. So these are some great dividend portfolios. Now, this framework is a great way to create a simple portfolio that will outperform that Boglehead's 3-fund portfolio. You don't really have much overlap. I mean, you have the broad market, but then you have like a good like SCHG and SCHD. They have 0% overlap. So that's great news. I mean, they are evening each other out. One is more growth, one is more dividend and income focused. And so then you have a great framework to create a good portfolio. And that portfolio could look like this. It's got like maybe 34% in VOO, 33% SEHD, and 33% in QQQ or QQQM. So this creates a great portfolio to help you do better. Now, coming up to our last ETF and our worst ETF mistake, this is it. This is one of the worst ones out there, and that is copying someone else's strategy or portfolio. Now, I gave you a framework. I say a framework because you can pick and choose and adjust the percentages any way you like it. But the truth is, copying someone's portfolio may not be the best move for you. If it's me, I am age 38 and I am trying to grow my portfolio, so I'm going to add a little bit more growth. If you're in your 50s or 60s and you want more income, you may be wanting more income producing assets or income producing ETFs. That could be bonds, that could be dividends, that could be even REITs. But all these things are different for each and every person. So don't blindly copy someone else's portfolio. You can pick and choose, create something that works for you. That is the worst mistake, is blindly copying, because maybe you see someone say, oh, I've got all these dividends, and you're like, oh, that's a great one to do. Maybe I should do that too. Well, maybe you're 25 years old and you're not 65, 7 years old looking for income. You probably should be focused more on growth. So this is the thing you got to think about, is what are the things that you're looking for in your portfolio? What ways could you make it better? And don't follow the mistakes. Don't chase the performance. Don't chase the yield. Don't copy someone's blindly. And just prevent some of those overlaps, and you'll make it a great portfolio for you. All right, let me know what your portfolio looks like. Let me know any ETF mistakes. Maybe I missed, maybe I didn't talk about high fees enough or something like that. And I'll see you in our next video. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.